Hello friends, it's Emma. Welcome back to my channel. Today I have a super exciting video. As you can see, we're sitting next to my bookshelf, and before we start the video, I do want to say my last 3 videos are all my travel Miami vlogs. It was my first solo trip, so if you're interested in going on a solo trip, or if you just like travel vlogs, if you want to travel, if you're thinking about going to Miami, if you just need some summer beach vibes in your life, make sure you go watch those actually, because there's 3 of them. Make sure you go watch those if you haven't already, and make sure you click subscribe if you haven't already, and go follow me on all my social medias while you're at it. If you want to, I would greatly appreciate it. But as you can tell by the title of today's video, I'm going to be sharing every single book I have with you. I would classify myself as a new reader. I really got into reading kind of this last summer. I started reading this last summer, but I really got into it in November. In November, I read 7 books. That's the most I've read in a month. My collection has slowly grown. I've got these up here, these right here, and then there are also some on the bottom shelf that you can't see, but I will be showing you. With all that being said, we're gonna go ahead and get into it. We're gonna save this section for last because that's my favorite section. If you can see from here who the author is, you know why. But we are gonna start with my second favorite section, which is this section over here. So these are my 2 Emily Henry books. They're beautiful, like sitting next to each other. And I mean, her covers are also beautiful. This one, People We Meet on Vacation, is one of my 5-star reads. This is, as you can see, People We Meet on Vacation by Emily Henry. This is one of the first books I read where I really fell in love with it. It was honestly probably the first book I read that I like fell in love with. I still love this book. I would reread it right now. If you haven't read it, go read it, please. Go read either of these books by Emily Henry. And I have an observation that I'm going to be telling you later in this video. And if you're a reader, I think you'll be able to agree to my observation and my theory. So stay tuned for later in the video for that theory, observation, whatever. Second book, Beach Read by Emily Henry. Yet again, another masterpiece. This one wasn't a 5-star for me personally, but definitely almost a 5-star. Those are my 2 Emily Henry books. She actually only has those 2 books. She's a 3rd book coming out, and I already have it pre-ordered, so technically I have that book. It's just not out yet. But it's called What's it called? Book Lovers. It's called Book Lovers, not Book People. Next, I'm going to be talking about a 3-book series. The only series I've ever finished so far. I love these books with my whole entire heart. This is definitely a 5-star series for me. I will be talking about these in my upcoming What I Read in March video, but first of all, let me just tell you what they are. The Summer I Turned Pretty series by Jenny Han. So the first book is called The Summer I Turned Pretty, the second book is called It's Not Summer Without You, and the 3rd book is called We'll Always Have Summer. These books are really great books if you're just getting into reading because they're so short, like not even 300 pages. All 3 of these are under 300 pages. The Summer I Turned Pretty series by Jenny Han is a masterpiece, and it's a YA series. Not only are they super short, but the pages are also super spaced out and pretty big text, so it's a very quick read. Love these books so much. Highly, highly, highly recommend. So we're gonna go onto this next shelf, onto another series. This is my After series collection, After by Anna Todd. It has 5 different books in the series, and I read the first one. As you can see, they are gigantic books, and that is why I've only read the first one, because it took me like 2 weeks to read this book. I have only read the first one, but I've seen all 3 of the After movies that are out, and I love them, so I'm excited to finish it. It might take me the whole year to finish this, but hopefully I will get it finished. It might even take me longer than the year, but yeah. We've got After, After We Collided, After We Fell, After Ever Happy, and Before. That's the After series by Anna Todd. These books right here, this is my TBR pile, part of my TBR pile, because obviously I still need to read all of these, but these are part of my TBR pile, so we're just gonna go one by one, and I will tell you what they are, what they're called, who they're by. First of all, we have Better Than the Movies by Lynn Painter. I want to read this book so bad because of Haley Pham. In one of her recent book videos said that this is her favorite romance book ever, and that is a big statement. She used to say that Love and Other Words was her favorite romance book ever, and now she's changed it to this. This book just sounds super interesting to me, and I think I'm gonna really like it also. This book is Josh and Hazel's Guide to Not Dating by Christina Lauren. I've read one other book by her, which we were just talking about, Love and Other Words, and we'll get to that in a minute. But I haven't read this one, and I liked Love in Other Words, so I wanted to read another Christina Lauren book, and I think this is her second highest rated on Goodreads, and that's why I picked it up. But I'm not quite sure, but it just looks really cute. The cover's adorable. Next is It Happened One Summer by Tessa Bailey. This book is so incredibly popular, and I haven't read it yet, obviously, because it's on my TBR list. She just came out with the second book to this, Hook, Line, and Sinker. I don't have that one. I figured I should probably read this one first to see if I even like it, and then read that one next. But I'm very excited to read this one. It is a little thicker, almost 400 pages. I'm sure it'll be great. The next two books I'm going to talk about are by Elle Kennedy. I've read one of her books. I wasn't the biggest fan, but first of all, The Deal is like so popular. This is part of her off-campus series, and the other book I read by her is part of her Briar U series. So they're two different series, but like in the same school, I think, like in the same realm, in the same life. But this is The Deal, and I really want to read it. This book is thick. I did not realize how thick this book is. It is almost 400, it's a little over 450 pages. It's a big book. But yeah, I'm actually pretty excited to read this one. Also, I hadn't picked that book up because I wasn't sure if I would like it, because it's by Elle Kennedy and I didn't like the first book that I read by her. So I've never gotten it whenever I was at Barnes & Noble. I found the book at Walmart the other day. Walmart's really been stepping up their book game. I found Elle Kennedy at Walmart. That is so crazy to me. Anyway, the next Elle Kennedy book is The Risk. This is part of the Briar U series. This is the second book in the Briar U series, and we'll get to it in a moment why I haven't read this yet. I'm gonna group these two books together because they've been on my TBR pile for like 7 months now. First of all is They Both Die in the End by Adam Silvera. I tried to start this book and I just can't. I couldn't do it. It's pretty thick. Once again, I didn't realize how thick this book is. Almost 400 pages. And I've just heard it's not people's favorite, but I've also heard it is people's favorite. There's just so many differing reviews on this book, and I don't know if I like the storyline. I picked it up because it was at Walmart and I needed a book to read, but then I never read it. So I know it's so popular, I just can't get myself to get further into it. Then this is The Lake by Natasha Preston. I also started this book. I think I got like a chapter in and I didn't finish it. But yeah, these two are grouped in together because I literally have had them on my TBR for an unbelievable amount of time and I haven't read them. So I don't know if I ever will. I always just push them back and get new books. This one is The Midnight Library by Matt Haig, I think is how you say that. Once again, I got this book at Walmart. The premise of the story sounds really interesting to me, but I've also heard very mixed reviews on this book. I've heard that it's a great idea, but it was executed very poorly. I don't know if I can put myself through that, but once again, this has been on my TBR for a little while and I just keep pushing it back and pushing it back, so we'll see if I get to it one day. The last book on this shelf is actually a non-fiction book, You Deserve Better by Tyler Cameron. This is my baby boy. Tyler Cameron, if you don't know, is from The Bachelor Nation. This is his book. I haven't read it yet, but my sister got it for me for Christmas because he's cute. I also have Live by Sadie Robertson. I think I got like 15 pages into this and stopped because I got interested in another book. One of my reading goals for this year was to read one nonfiction book a month, and it's the third month of the year and I haven't read a single one. So that clearly isn't happening, but I do have this book. My sister once again got it for me for Christmas and I really do want to read it. When I read the first 15 pages, I already got some really good things out of it. I just love getting lost in books and I can't really do that with nonfiction. We're gonna go down into the shelf that you can't see, and those are the books that I have read. First of all, we've got Love in Other Words by Christina Lauren, and this is where my theory comes in, my observation, my hypothesis, if you will. I don't know what to call it, but basically what my theory is, I'm gonna get these books back out, my Emily Henry books. There are readers who are people we meet on vacation people, and there are readers who are beach read people. What my observation is if you are a beach read person and you rated this 5 stars, you rated Love in Other Words 5 stars, and this is one of your all-time favorite books. If you rated People We Meet on Vacation 5 stars and you're a People We Meet on Vacation person, you didn't like Love in Other Words as much. Now let me explain why. Love in Other Words and People We Meet on Vacation are very similar books. They follow kind of the same plot line where it's childhood friends to lovers. They stop talking for a period of time. then they come back together and fall in love again. This is a shorter amount of time where they stop talking. This is a super long amount of time where they stop talking. This one is a little lighter. This one is a little heavier. And you're probably one or the other. The reason I've gathered this is because Haley Pham is in love with this book, and she's a beach read girl. I rated this 4.8 stars, and I'm a people we meet on vacation girl. So that's my theory. Comment down below, please, if you agree, if you've read these books, because I think it makes so much sense. If you love Love in Other Words, and it follows kind of the same plot line of people we meet on vacation, you're gonna be a beach read girl because you prefer this plot line over people we meet on vacation plot line. And if you love people we meet on vacation, you're gonna prefer, obviously, people we meet on vacation over Love in Other Words. And you don't love this book as much as other readers do. It makes sense in my mind, and I think I explained it pretty well. So comment down below if it makes sense in your mind and if you agree with me. Obviously, there are people who can give 5 stars to all 3 of these books and love them all equally, or something along those lines. Or you could love these books and hate this book, or love this book and hate these books. Either way. But if you're a person who likes all of these books but likes one a little bit better, that's probably why. I think so. But I do really like this book, Love in Other Words by Christina Lauren. If I would have read this before, I probably would have different feelings, but I just love People We Meet on Vacation. People We Meet on Vacation also talks about New Orleans, and I was living in New Orleans at the time I read it, so that also could contribute to it. But the next book I have is The Love Hypothesis by Ali Hazelwood. This book, again, is so popular on Book Talk and BookTube and all that kind of stuff. I liked it. I liked the second half of the book much better than the first half of the book. And I'm not obsessed with it like a lot of people are. The next book, once again, is a super popular book on BookTube and Book Talk. Probably one of the most popular is The Hating Game by Sally Thorne. Once again, I really liked it. I liked the second half better than the first half. It was kind of hard for me to get into it, but once I got into it, I really enjoyed it. The movie's not as good, so if you don't feel like watching the movie, don't feel like you have to, because the book's better than the movie, like people usually say. Also, please, 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 if you are going to go get this book, get this cover. Do not get that stupid movie poster cover that they have on The Hating Game now, because I hate it. I hating game it. That was stupid, but I hate it. It's ugly and this is cute. Next, I have Call Me By Your Name by Andre Ackman. I don't know how to pronounce that actually. I got this book because I love the movie Call Me By Your Name, and I couldn't even finish this book. I put it on my finish pile because I got about halfway through and it was just like scene by scene, word by word, basically the script of the movie. Like, there was nothing different. I don't know if the movie happened and then they wrote a book about it, or the book's pretty small, so maybe they just like literally put it word for word into the movie. But I just got so bored because I've seen the movie like 3 times. I knew exactly what was happening. I knew the words that were gonna come next, and yeah. I love, 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 love the movie. But if you've already seen the movie, you don't need to read the book because it's the exact same thing. Next, I have We Were Liars by E. Lockhart. This is the very, very first book I read when I was getting into reading. And this book has so many mixed reviews, but I love this book. This book will hold a special place in my heart forever if you haven't read it yet. And people have told you to avoid it. Don't. Please go read it. And make that decision for yourself if it's bad or not, because I love this book. Next, we have A Good Girl's Guide to Murder by Holly Jackson. I love this cover and I loved this book. I also have the second book, Good Girl, Bad Blood. I'm not quite finished with it yet, but so far I like the first book better than this book. And a lot of people said that this book's better than this one, but so far I like this one better than this one. But we'll see whenever I finish it, and I need to get the third book, but they never have the third book in paperback. They always have it in hardcover. And I can't have the first 2 in paperback and the last one in hardcover. And I don't like hardcover books, so. Next book is The Chase by Elle Kennedy. You guys know where I'm going with this. I did not like this book. I don't like fan fiction writing. And that's what this sounds like when you read it. Like, her writing is in the form, sounds like it's a fan fiction. And I don't like that at all. I think it's super cringy. I just didn't like it. And that's why I haven't read the second one in this series. This is the first book in the Briar You series. It took me forever to read it, and I gave it like 3 stars. So my last book down on that shelf is One of Us is Next by Karen McManus. I have read One of Us is Lying. I just don't have the physical copy of it. I need to get it to go with this because they'd look so cute next to each other on my bookshelf. But I really like this book. I really like YA murder mysteries and just mystery books in general. There are a few more books by her that I want to read that I just haven't gotten around to getting. But yeah, I like this duology a lot. Those are the books down here on this shelf that you can't see. And now we're getting to my favorite part, my Colleen Hoover section. We're gonna go from my least favorite to my favorite, okay? Okay. Actually, first I'm going to talk about the 3 that I haven't read that I have. The 3 books that I have by Colleen Hoover that I haven't read are Losing Hope, Finding Cinderella, and Maybe Someday. I just found this one at Walmart the other day. Once again, Colleen Hoover at Walmart. What? Those are the 3 Colleen Hoover books that I have that I haven't read. Alright, we're going to go from least favorite to favorite like I said. This is actually the most recent book that I've read and that I've finished. This is Layla by Colleen Hoover. This is one of her 2 like thriller books that she has. And I had no idea what this book was about going into it. I kind of just went into it blindly. I had heard about it, but I had never really heard anyone talk about what it's about. And I'm not going to tell you what it's about because I liked that I went into it blind. It may be at the bottom, like my least favorite Colleen Hoover book, but I still rated it a 3.5 maybe, and it wasn't like terrible. Like, I didn't hate it and I got through it really quickly. We're gonna go on to the next one. It's Verity by Colleen Hoover. This book is so incredibly popular. Once again, it's one of her 2 thrillers that she has. Her thrillers are on the bottom of my list because I just love her romance books so much. This may surprise you guys, but my 3rd to last favorite Coho book is Ugly Love. I know people love this book, and I personally did not love this book. I've talked about it in a reading wrap-up before, my November reading wrap-up I think, and yeah, it just was not my favorite Coho book. I've read 9 Colleen Hoover books, and yeah, this is just not my favorite. It was still really good. I think I rated it a 4 or 4.5 or something like that, but I think it's just so much lower than all the other ones because there was so much hype to it. And when I read it and I didn't love it as much as I thought I was going to, it kind of disappointed me. Next is a book that I think is so underrated and that I think a lot of people would put Ugly Love above, but it's All Your Perfects. From here on out, they're all 5 stars. Next, we have Heartbones. I read this on the beach when I went to Miami, and it was the perfect beach read. Like, I've heard people say that so many times about this book and about The Summer I Turned Pretty books. And those are the 2 that I read on the beach. I read The Summer I Turned Pretty and Heartbones, and it was perfect. It just, immaculate vibes. I loved it so much. Not to mention, this cover is beautiful. I really liked this book. Again, it was a 5-star for me. Next book is November 9 by Colleen Hoover. Once again, love this book, 5 stars. Okay guys, top 3 Coho books. In 3rd place, we have Hopeless. 2nd place is It Ends With Us, this iconic book, and she just announced that she's writing It Starts With Us. Last but certainly not even close to least, the most actually, is Reminders of Him. Oh my gosh, I have never ever cried so hard at a book. Not to mention this cover, stunning. I can't say enough good things. I cannot say enough good things. Please go read it. That's my whole book collection. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you stayed to the end, make sure you comment down the book emoji or the emoji with the little nerd glasses, just so I know that you stayed all the way and that you are a homie. If you liked this video and you liked me, you'll probably like my other videos. So make sure you go down and subscribe to my channel so that you can continue to watch my videos and watch me. And also go follow me on my social media because I really try to post aesthetic things on Instagram, but you know, my feed is not the cutest, but that's okay. And then I really want to start posting more on TikTok. I'm just not a super creative, relatable person, but I'm trying, okay? So go follow me on all my social media. They're always linked in the description down below. Stay tuned because I have some more travel content and some more book content coming up. I love you all so much. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye! I look really good today. I'm gonna take a thumbnail.